This is DMC Devil May Cry. You know, the one that they swore they hated until they actually played it? Well, this is the reboot with Emo Dante, a foul-mouthed angel brother, and enough weapon switching to sprain your thumbs. But guess what? It actually slaps. To get the Platinum Trophy, I had to beat the game on 3 different difficulties, including Dante Must Die because tradition demands pain. I had to place Dante's long-lost brother Vergil in some of the most cursed level design ever imagined, and then beat 80 floors total between Dante and Vergil in the Bloody Palace. It's flashy, it's chaotic, it's DMC at its weirdest. So let's dive in and earn that Platinum Trophy in the most stylish way possible. The game opens up with Kat knocking on Dante's door to warn him that a demon is closing in. Moments later, we're pulled into Limbo, which is basically like a demon mirror world of reality, and this is where we meet our first real big baddie, the Hunter, and we start getting the hang of things. This stage doubles as a tutorial. You'll learn how to string together basic combos, you'll collect orbs, you'll dodge attacks while the world falls apart around you. You're also introduced to the game's currencies, so red orbs are for buying items and upgrades, white orbs are for ability XP, and then yellow orbs are technically, I guess, for revives. Eventually I'm introduced to the shop where I can buy upgrades for Dante, the Rebellion weapon, Ebony and Ivory, and then this is where it all begins. My first upgrade and my first step to Platinum. Ooh, got our first trophy. Towards the end of stage 1, we faced the Hunter who wrecked our caravan. First try, got smacked, wasn't even close.
Attack its base!
That hit me. Second try though, only got hit once. And this is one of those Elden Ring style moments where knowledge just trivializes the whole fight. Hell yeah. Come on puppy, let's go. Before moving on, each level has its own hidden goodies to go and collect. We have lost souls to go and get for some red orbs. We have gold keys to unlock the secret missions, which is also a collectible. And if you're going for the platinum, you're going to have to be scouring every corner of Limbo to find all of these. Stage 2 kicks off the actual plot. Vergil rolls up looking mysterious and way too well dressed and starts convincing Dante to join his demon-slaying revolution. They revisit their old childhood home, which is full of trauma and cryptic family portraits. After beating up a bunch of demons, we find a photo of Sparda, which is their dad's, and touching it unlocks a new weapon, the Arbiter. This axe is massive, it's slow, but it hits like a truck. It's also one of the first weapons that introduces counter mechanics. So certain enemies will only drop their guard when you hit them with the right weapon type. Later difficulties basically demand you to switch weapons mid-fight, or the demons will parry like it's a Dark Souls cheat code. I also want to add here that I am playing on the Nephilim difficulty with the hardcore mode active, which in this context means that demons hit harder, they come at you in larger groups, but it also means that I racked up my 100 demon kills very quickly. 100 demons. Right after that, I got my third weapon already in chapter 2, and this time it is the Angelic Scythe Osiris. It's smooth, it's elegant, and it's somewhat perfect for crowd control, at least for right now. The chapter ends up wrapping up with Dante and Vergil finally agreeing to take down the demons together. Welcome to stage 3, and with it our next mobility tool, the Angel Boost. This thing basically gives you a slick air dash which helps both with traversal and then also combat. The level itself doesn't really push the difficulty too hard, but it does give you time to start mixing in your different combos and your different weapons all at the same time. One thing I will say is the Angelic Boost is something that is required to go backtrack for some of those collectibles that we just couldn't reach in the first few levels. Stage 4 begins, and it's like every other level. You're running through the streets of whatever city we're in, we're fighting demons, we're trying to work out how combos work in this game, and then towards the end of the level we get our first encounter against a tyrant. This big dude is basically a demon linebacker with a giant shield, a charging tackle, and then a porcelain baby face that will haunt your dreams. The trick? You bait him into slamming against the wall, yank him down with your demon pool, and then you go ham whilst he's stunned. If you mess it up though, he will flatten you and he will do a lot of damage.
Heart of it ball.
Flock off, Featherface. Okay. Stage 6 throws a fun challenge at you, which is a 2-minute wind tunnel gauntlet. You just have to make it to the end within those 2 minutes. The killing the demons that spawn are totally optional, but since we're going for the platinum and it is a trophy, that's what we're going to do. So our goal here is to kill every demon and then make it to the end before the timer runs out. Now this isn't as scary as it seems once you memorize the spawn points. Also, the difficulty is not that hard, so it's not terrible. But I barely made it on my first try with 156 on the clock. Nailed it. Man with guts and honor. That was so easy.
Oh wow.
At the end of stage 6, you'll meet Succubus, which is a grotesque, screechy boss fight that's just more gross than it is threatening. The fight itself is broken up into 3 phases. After you burn through each health bar, you'll have to jump to one of the platforms and sever one of the cables connecting her to her disgusting meat blender core. Do that 3 times and she finally collapses in dramatic fashion. It's definitely not the hardest fight, but it is one of the most memorable. It's visually intense, there's solid pacing, and just enough mechanics to keep it interesting. But once she's finally down, you unlock Urex, which is a pair of fiery gauntlets built for smashing. They're slow, but they do hit hard. I'm going to skip talking about stage 7 because nothing notable happens whatsoever, so here we are, stage 8. This is more of a story heavy detour. You follow some harpies back to their nest, you retrieve Phineas's eye, you bring it back to him. There's no boss, nothing really notable happens here either, but we do get a trophy for bringing back the eye. Here's a demon too. Stage 9 is when the game finally hands you the ultimate power fantasy, Devil Trigger, and it's about time. This is your go nuts button, you just activate it and everything slows down, your health regenerates, you hit like a freight train, and then on non-hardcore difficulty, everything flies up in the air, so they're just really passive. The minute I unlocked this, my confidence tripled, and so did my aggression. Stage 10 has us against Bulbarbus, which is a literal talking head and a walking Fox News fever dream. I'm not kidding. It's also hands down the hardest fight in the entire game. It's my opinion, I'm sorry. The fight itself, you're trapped into a surreal media themed arena, I guess, where Bulbarbus is shouting fake news at you and then summoning glitchy walls that you have to jump through. It's really easy to mess these up and I pretty much died every single time fighting this guy. The real kicker to this fight though is to stagger Bob, and to do real damage, you have to destroy the power cores that are around the arena itself. But of course, as you're doing this, he's throwing projectiles at you, he's spawning walls whilst you're trying to do this all. So half the fight is literally just trying to survive long enough to get the opening to destroy the power core. And just like Succubus, this guy has 3 phases and it gets progressively harder the more health bars that you're actually taking down. So again, just real pain in the ass, not the best fight at all. But finally taking him down unlocks our final weapon, the Inquiller, which is a pair of fast chakrams that slice through mobs like nothing. It also provides us the best CC in the entire game. This was probably my favourite and overused weapon out of anything here. So stage 12 is a weird one. I'm not a fan whatsoever. So we have to run back to the HQ because the SWAT team are after Vergil and Kat, and they're trying to blow up some computer so they don't get access to our, I don't know, our notes, our details, something. And this is basically just like a horde mode. We're fending off these monsters so they get enough time to blow up the computers, but halfway through we do get another weapon, which is a ranged shotgun. And this thing I pretty much used again through my entire playthrough. I didn't think I switched off back to Ebony and Ivory at all for the most part. Other than that, just a horde mode. I don't know, nothing really else to say. Very shortly after I unlocked the Inquiller, and like I said, it's my favorite weapon. It provides the best CC in the game. I managed to snag my first SSS rank. Yay! It did almost come out of nowhere. I was on mission 12, there's total chaos. Again, there's so many demons just because of the hardcore mode that I'm on. I had perfect dodges, high combo variety, clean execution. It just got me my SSS. And then I was like, can I keep this up? And sure enough, once you get it once, you'll get it again. By stage 12, I had 13 secret missions under my belt, and these are just short little combat trials scattered throughout the game. This one in particular is great for farming red orbs if I needed upgrades later on, which I actually never needed to do it, spoiler alert. It's just good to know if you need extra items or anything else, but this was for 13 secret missions. It's just getting crazier. Finished 10 secret missions. Stage 14 puts us face to face with Mundus's unborn baby, I guess you would call it. It's basically like an amalgam with his mistress hanging in and out of the baby's body, and I don't even know what that sentence means. The fight rolls out in a very standard 3-phase boss format. Each time you delete a health bar, she ejects herself from the baby's body and exposes herself for a short nuke phase. You'll be dodging oversized slams, you'll be dodging projectile spams. Overall, it's not too bad. I did walk out of this one with literal 1 hit left, but I didn't die, so I guess that's a win. Whatever, lady. True, that was tough. Mission 15 moves the action to Mundus's corporate tower. The vibe is basically a corporate CEO that gets his own personal demon army. I end up fighting my way floor by floor, and at some point you get handed like a taser style weapon that delivers like a burst of shock damage, which sounds cool, and there's a way to like shoot it to do damage to like the shielded enemies. It's not very good though, so I never touched it, but appreciate the effort and appreciate the trophy. Stage 17 is a wash. It's very standard. I'm just running around getting collectibles. There's nothing really to talk about. Stage 18 though is basically like a puzzle. You're in the demon's den and you're activating crystals to get access to the final chamber. There's no real big surprises here, but after you return from each one of the 4 tunnels that powers up the crystals, you get locked into a fight, and being the last level, you do get some of the harder fights in the entire game. It's time to finish this. Chapter 19 gives us the big fight against Mundus, the Demon King, the fake god, the disappointment. So, it's mostly a cinematic, it's a 3-phase fight as usual, but honestly it feels like it's just really a cutscene. He only has 2 real moves. He has a slam with each hand, and then he has a flying boulder attack where it only gets summoned once one of his hands are destroyed. Phase 3 though is essentially just dodging that boulder mechanic again, and then he opens up his core and you just do this 3 or 4 times until he's dead. It's a very, very underwhelming boss fight in general, but even more so because it's Mundus.
We did it.
Did we? Cleaning up his dad's mess.
Free from the demons. The path is clear for us to rule. What did you just say? The path is clear for us to rule.
Chapter 20, the final fight, Dante vs. Vergil. Brothers. Opposites. A little bit of anime, I guess. This one's a bit more personal than it is challenging, at least if we're role-playing. Vergil has teleport spams, he has fast swings, he's got Yamato trickery, and the fight again, it seems very basic. Vergil lets you get 4 or 5 hits in, and then he counters your attack and responds with a few swings or an ability of his own. This goes on until about 1/3 of his health, where he activates Devil Trigger. His trigger creates a clone of himself that mimics his attacks and abilities, which really wasn't an issue, as my Devil Trigger just sends the clone up into the sky and then he just floats asleep essentially. And with that, Dante's story is complete.
Not cool enough though. The end? Do bet on it. Is there a problem?
With the story complete, we get a break from the perfectly executed storyline. I have a few trophies and collectibles to go back to, but I also have 2 more difficulties to play through. So in the name of efficiency, I started my next playthrough on Son of Sparda, but this time the hardcore modifier is off, which means less damage, and Devil Trigger is actually working as it should. During the very first stage found, there's a theme park ride called the Hurricane. It's a massive ride where when enemies get launched into it, it's pretty much a one-shot. So for my next trophy, I just had to do this a total of 10 times.
It's only the rain.
Since I have to play through all 20 missions again on what I would call the hard difficulty of the game, I'm going to gain a plethora of red orbs, and that I'll use for my final health and Devil Trigger upgrades, and then any items I might need for the next difficulty. Anyway, here is 20,000 red orbs spent.
10K. This is my kind of rain. Hell yeah.
This is where I hit 1,000 demon kills by stage 5 on Son of Sparda difficulty. And then this is Son of Sparda mode, all completely done. Was it easy? Yes. The difficulty changes in Son of Sparda really was slight damage increases from the enemies, and then some of the harder enemies spawned earlier, but since I have every weapon unlocked and nearly all the abilities, it was pretty much a joke. Well, other than Bob Barbas.
Kill him, just kill him. Please kill him, please. Just kill him. Yeah, credits, sick. Give me the trophy. Give me it. Yes. Too easy. It's too easy.
With 2 of the 3 mandatory difficulties down, I have 1 left. Dante Must Die. And this is technically my first ever DMC game, and I've mostly heard that this game gets hard. So in order to make sure I'm fully prepared and minimal crashing out moments, I went back for some tidying up on the easier difficulties. I completed the final secret mission that awarded a health booster.
Let's go.
And then I went back on human mode just to clean up any of the remaining secret missions that I needed. Again, easy just to knock out when I'm not getting clapped every 10 seconds.
We're done. Yeah. You get more Devil Trigger. Cool. Ah, thank you. One hell of a party, baby.
And finally hunted down the last soul that I needed. Use a guide, save yourself the pain and use a guide.
Your dark soul with lights.
This next trophy I should have got a lot earlier, but who here is keeping tabs? And if you are, tell me in the comments and I'll make sure apologizing. So I went into Heaven and Hell mode, which is another difficulty where you die in one hit. But the enemy also dies in one hit as well as the bosses. So I finished stage 6 this way and it was honestly kind of fun. You don't need any skill, you just need speed and my two ladies, Ebony and Ivory.
Does it not count? There it is. Looks like it's your lucky day. I didn't think it was going to count. And now I also have enough for Devil Trigger. You can't handle it.
My last slay X amount of demons, I ended up getting towards the end of Dante Must Die. So with 2 difficulties that I played on, half of Heaven and Hell mode, and then 95% of Dante Must Die, that's how long it took me to get this trophy.
Oh. Whoa! We have a trophy. They must have died from the environment. I don't know.
So let's talk Dante Must Die difficulty. This is the big scary trophy that seems to make or break people's platinum when they're playing this game. As we start the difficulty, the game warns us that enemies do a lot more damage, more health, yada yada, but they have a new ability where they can go into Devil Trigger modes. It's not very cool looking though, it just makes them immune to stagger. Also, bonus damage. They usually don't get this until it's the last 1 or 2 enemies left of the wave, so I had to plan carefully in real time which ones I was going to leave up to deal with. This is also when I was going to freely use my items as much as I wanted, but honestly, I only used it for my mate Bob and then Mr. Vergil himself. And as I finish up this run, I will say the difficulty for this run with all the knowledge I have now is maybe a 3 out of 10. It's more of in your head and fake news than anything else. It's really not that bad.
Yikes. That's it. The hardest difficulty done. Let's go. I am him. I am him. I did a Dante Must Die difficulty on a DMC game. Might be the easiest one, but I'm just trying to catch a vibe. No deaths.
The last part of Dante's portion for the Platinum Trophy is to SSS 10 missions, which sounds easy, right? I know how to do SSS combos, I've beat the hardest difficulty mode, and I've unlocked unlimited Devil Trigger mode. But the way the game calculates SSS ranking for missions is a little unique. So we have 3 categories here. We have stylish points, easy enough, get enough points from combos and high rankings. The higher the ranking, the more that your combo is going to have a higher multiplier. Second category, you've got time, easy enough, just finish as soon as possible, but with the above in mind, you have to aim to kill every enemy within the levels. And then the third and last category is collectibles. Since I have them all unlocked already, I get an instant SSS. Oh, and that new fun unlock I got where I get to use unlimited Devil Trigger, that reduces my score by 50%, so I won't be using that for this run whatsoever. And the final note on this, since I had to build up the combo ranking, I can't play on human mode whatsoever, so I went with Nephilian difficulty. The 10 missions I ended up doing were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, and then finally 19. The last 2 obviously being bosses. Let's go! Let's go! S! S! S, S, S. My last mission themed trophy was for stage 16 just outside of Mundus's corporate building. My goal here is to kill 4 enemies and then reach the door. The hardest part of this trophy is just making sure I get to the door correctly.
There it is. There's still time, baby.
After all said and done, I still had a few more orbs needed to unlock every single Dante ability, and the most time efficient way to get these orbs was to beat Vergil. It takes about 30 seconds, mostly just because of the cutscenes between every quarter of his bar.
Power. Give me more power.
Okay, we're finally here, the last trophy I can achieve with Dante, and that is the Bloody Palace. I've unlocked every ability for every weapon, max health, max Devil Trigger gauge, and I'm allowed to use the Devil Trigger Unlimited use. Yay! Now, there is no difficulty option for the Palace, so from my experience, it seems like it starts you off on the human difficulty and then increases like every 10 or so levels. And honestly, this was a complete joke. I had to fight 2 bosses, but with unlimited devil trigger, I could have given this to my dog and he would have done this no problem.
That's it? I just had to reach level 50?
We now move on to Vergil's DLC, which consists of 6 missions. The story itself, not great. The too long didn't watch barely listen version. Vergil was sent to hell, I think, and we're chasing down visions of Kat, Dante, our mum, and an evil version of ourselves for more power, I think. I didn't really know, but the ending abruptly ended and there was 0 payoff.
He summons demons. Sick.
Just like Dante, I started this first playthrough on the Nephilim difficulty with the hardcore modifier on. And anyway, there are only 2 new enemy types introduced here. Yep, just 2. And the first encounter you're against is a wisp, and which, per its name, it's a ghostly spirit and you're not able to do any damage to it unless you have a dagger inside of it. This thing was easier than the harpies from Dante's story, so we move on.
Oh, what the? Defeat a wisp. Okay.
A few missions go by, nothing of note really to go over. We do have lost souls to collect, we have the health fragments, and we have devil trigger upgrades, so I'm using a guide to collect those. I'm now on stage 4, and at the end of the mission, we're introduced to the other standard enemy type called the Imprisoner. Now, this thing is a complete joke in a tough way. It doesn't stagger to anything, it has some massive wind-up abilities, it has a heat-seeking boulder thrower, and what seems to be a massive health pool. I feel like this was actually harder than most of the boss fights in the base game. I then cleaned up all the lost souls in Vergil's story. Again, use the guide because why not?
We freed all the souls. No more collectible. One more collectible. Just the one more.
The final notables of Vergil's campaign is that you fight Echo Vergil, which is a little bit different to the Dante version, the main one being that it has intermission phases where you're just dodging attacks. He's a little bit more relentless, but overall, he's not that hard. And then we have the final stage, which is just a reskin of stage 1 of the Vergil campaign, and that's getting to the graveyard. There is no boss at the end other than having to fight the Imprisoner, so again, disappointing.
That was not a good DLC. I'm stressed. Don't speak, just die. We're getting close to the plateau.
And just like Dante, I have 2 more difficulties to go through, so my second playthrough again was on some Sparda. It's slightly tougher, but having access to Devil Trigger and more combos, it really wasn't that terrible. I'd give it like a 2 out of 10 difficulty.
I need more power. I need more power.
So this was the last actual trophy I was worried about, and that is getting the SSS ranking on 5 out of the 6 missions. I was worried because when I first started with Dante, and along the way I'm sure you get combos, but none of it was clicking with me. I didn't know how to use him. I knew how to use Dante, I was so good at Dante, but Vergil just felt so clunky and weird. One of the biggest differences with Vergil is that he has 2 ways to use up his Devil Trigger. One being that you summon blades around you, which all do ticking damage on an enemy as it touches them, and the other one, you summon the Echo version of Vergil and it mimics your attacks. Well, who knew that the blade summon was basically an instant SSS? I just had to dodge out the way of the attacks as needed, and I was able to do this all on human difficulty because the multiplier just flies up the rankings so quickly with Vergil. So I just did the first 5 missions, I did it as quick as possible using this strategy, and I got my trophy.
Nice. Has to be. Let's go. That has to be it, right? There it is. I see a devil inside you has awakened.
So from those 2 runs, I had enough blood orbs to buy the last health upgrade in the store, so there's really no excuses for me dying.
This may be fun,
right? Same with the Devil Trigger, I collected all the collectibles needed and enough blood orbs to get my last upgrade for Devil Trigger. And now I just fully upgrade all of Vergil's abilities because I've got nothing else to do. And then at this time I also got 1,000 demon kills as Vergil, and this would be the last 2 free trophies of the game. So Vergil Must Die is actually a lot easier than what I thought it was going to be because the game doesn't punish you for dying. So if I was able to complete a full fight with the 2 or 3 waves that it throws at you and then die afterwards, I can just spawn again after that checkpoint and I'm good to go. The only downside is that I won't get to keep my Devil Trigger, but who really cares when you can just scam all these packs of mobs? So yeah, I basically just abused this the whole way through and then just used items as needed, which is on the Vergil fight and then again on the Imprisoner fight at the end of the game. I mean, it really wasn't that hard.
That's it? Oh, it feels so good. Oh. This is the power of Sparda. I died 5 times. It was all on purpose.
And just like Dante, the Bloody Palace was really easy. I'm allowed to use Unlimited Devil Trigger that I unlocked from Vergil Must Die mode, so I was just going to use that on every single wave I could. I popped it, I cleared every wave with ease, and Vergil only has 30 floors compared to Dante's 50.
What are you going to do with all that power? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with all that power? Do you know what I'm going to do with all that power? Get the platinum trophy!